What is up, everyone? This is Coach Austin here coming to you from Hyper Strength and Conditioning with your Nerd Out and Workout podcast, where we nerd out, workout, and podcast. And today we are joined by the BroDean, CEO of Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat. Introduce yourself, sir.
What's up, guys?
He didn't have his coffee yet, so.
I'm Dean.
Bear with him.
Dean, or BroDean, as people have called me in public, so.
BroDean.
Yeah, so that's me.
Good shit, man. Well, BroDean has agreed to come on our show to talk about his brand, and I wanted to reach out to him. And the way we learned about his brand is one of our members was wearing his shirt and was loving this brand, and I'm like, dude, that's a hilarious shirt. So take it easy. And so I looked more into the brand, and it was funny. And you have a really crazy following, and it's your trajectory is looking awesome.
Thank you, man.
So I wanted to ask you first off, you know, what is Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat, and how did it all start for you, man?
Yeah, so Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat is pretty much has become a lifestyle brand in a way, and a community of people who enjoy food and like lifting or like running or like exercising. It's a brand about balance and, you know, having fun as a general summation. The way it started is pretty random.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's because I actually thought my life would be being a physical therapist and kind of following that path of I'm going to work at a clinic and, you know, just work as a PT and rehab and buy a house, have some kids, and didn't end up that way.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so with Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat, actually, I was, I mean, if I could go back to when I was younger, I was always, the reason why I really liked your podcast and stuff is I considered myself a nerd. I was always like, you know, I had comic books, I had all those things like sealed up in bags, I had in the suitcase, like that whole kind of thing.
Damn.
But like, you know, like I was never fully athletic like everyone, like all the other like guys in my class are really good at basketball, and you know, I couldn't really play that well. You know, so I stuck to like comic books, I stuck to video games, I stuck to studying, you know, that whole thing.
I'm on the same boat, man.
Yeah.
I could kind of shoot a basketball, but when I play ball with my friends, they get pissed off.
It was like I actually had to get homeschooled, and my dad was like, "You need to learn how to play basketball."
It's like a Filipino thing or whatever. It's like, dude, why? I'm not 6'2", man.
I figured out how to get it. I was okay, but I didn't enjoy it, like, because I was kind of like I was kind of intimidated too in that area. So I was very comfortable in the academic space, I guess you can say. I flash forward to go through all of school. I ended up going into PT school, and obviously in physical therapy, you are introduced to more of kind of the fitness realm, because that's kind of like, you know, a big portion of it is like sports and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how I started like getting more into weightlifting and realizing, learning more about the fitness industry. And then after that, I went over to become a sports therapist in Newport in Orange County, which a lot of people know is like one of the biggest meccas of fitness in California. Yeah. And so from there, I ended up like I became like kind of almost obsessed to the point of wanting to have the perfect figure, because it was something that I thought I never could get. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I needed it to be happy, if that makes sense. You know, I was like, this is something. Yeah. So I was like, I need to be perfect. I need to have abs, you know, like that's when I reach that goal, then I'll be happy, you know, like I'll have my career, I'll have abs. What more do you need in this life?
It's a very common thing. It's a very common thing in the industry. When I get this, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, but exactly. It was that mentality. And so, I eventually did get abs, you know, and then like even signed up for a physique competition and wanted to go down that whole route. And, you know, but I started noticing it became more of kind of detrimental to my mental health in a way where every day I would check to make sure I had abs, you know, as ridiculous as that sounds. Like, you know, it was like the beginning of Instagram kind of when it first came out. And that's when people were at first posting Instagram only of like random things like their food. Like they just ate something, so they took a picture of it. You know, it was like so like low quality, but that's like what people use Instagram for. Just, look at this door, you know, like random things, you know. Now it's like high quality content. But back then, like for me, I was using it as progress. Like, oh, like I ate like a burger yesterday and I felt so bad. And then so I'd have to take a photo. I was like, oh, my abs, I have to make sure they're there. So I was actually more unhappy then than I was before, if that makes sense, because I was so hard on myself. And so like, I need to like always have these, and so I was scared of food, which is hard for me to be scared of food. Cause I just realized, like, it's a little tangent.
No, that's fine.
I was like talking to my friends the other day, and like some of my business partners, like my whole life has been centered around food. Like when I used to, like, okay, embarrassing, but I played MapleStory, all right?
What?
So I don't know if you I don't remember if you know what MapleStory was, but it was like one of the first like MMO RPG games out there. And my name was Hungry Man 005. I was like 13.
Hungry Man 005?
It was Hungry Man 005. And then I was a big fan of other games, and I ended up changing my name to Mr. Eat 05. So I clearly have an obsession with food. So, but anyways, that was a sidetrack.
It's all
but,
good,
so,
man. That's what it's all about.
And now I have kind of fat. But it was that fear of food that was making me very unhappy, and that fear of not sustaining of what I thought people or what I thought society was perfection, I guess. That makes sense. And so I ended up coming back out of Orange County, moving more locally to San Gabriel area, which is out here, where there's a lot of food available and Asian food, and where a lot of my old friends live. And so because of that, we all started going out more. I started eating a little more. And so naturally I started losing the perfect shreds, like the 8% body fat concept. Yeah. And so that transition was actually kind of a time where I had to realize, where does my self-value lie in a way? Is like, does it lie in my outward appearance all the time, or does it lie intrinsically? And that led me to like kind of like be more like comedic about it. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of fit, kind of fat, Yeah. And I put it on my page for like a year at least. And then like I was like, what if I put this on a shirt like a couple of months later? And I was like talking to some friends, like, hey, what if I did that? And then they're like, that'd be cool, like there's nothing like that right now. I'm like, yeah, I'd do that. And like, so I ended up just one day I was like making some designs, and then I was talking to my coworker at the time. She's also a physical therapist. And I'm like, every week we talk about this idea. I'm like, oh, kind of fit, kind of fat. I think that would be a great idea, And she's like, yeah, that's an amazing idea, dude. Like, I think it's fun. It's like, it's a different, and it really shakes up the industry. And one day I said it again. She's like, dude, I'm tired of hearing about you talking about it. Like, why don't you fucking do something about it? Because honestly, if you don't do it, someone will. If not me, someone's gonna fucking do it.
Yeah. That's
and then
true,
like she's like, I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right, fine. So I went home and I ended up like reserving all like the websites, the handles and stuff.
You went all in, huh?
I went all in. I'm not a guy who just kind of doesn't go all in.
No, that's good.
So I went in blind. I didn't know anything, and I ended up like starting the campaign, and I didn't fully finish the design, and I just launched it on my personal page. I'm like, hey guys, I am doing a clothing brand. And that's pretty much the origin story of how it all kind of came to reality there.
What year was this?
That was only 2017, I think. Yeah. July. Oh, well, that year that I actually started and did all the trademarking and everything was April 2017. And then we actually launched the company officially in July of 2017.
Wow. So like, you're going to hit your 2 years this year?
We're going to hit our 2 years. It will be our 2 years in a couple months in July. Yeah.
How's the growth? Dude. How's everything?
Oh my God, dude. It's been insane. Like, I can't even, every day I'm just like, I can't believe this is like, I would have never dreamed of the position we'd be in right now and the trajectory that we're heading. Just because, you don't think that big when you start a company. Like, I didn't, you don't realize what you can do until you do it,
Exactly.
And like, so we came from a room of like 10 thickish guys and 3 thickish girls, and we're all in like my little tiny
thickish?
Well, like kind of fit, kind of fat,
Thickish. Dude, that should be a shirt.
That's a new line.
Thickish. The new launch.
Collab. You start it, and I'll collab with you.
Let's do it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, we were all in like this room. None of us knew anything about clothes because honestly, the whole company was pretty much started by a hospital. Like there were nurses, there were PTs, there was a pharmacist consultant. It was just a bunch of just medical people who had no idea what the fuck they were doing with business.
Dang.
So yeah, we ended up all of us were in a room. We were all folding clothes and like figuring out how do we sell this, how do we ship this, and we ended up making 50 shirts. And those shirts, we launched it, sold out in 15 minutes, like online. And we're like, what the heck? You know, it was kind of crazy. So we looked at the statistics. They're like, oh, these are friends from college. These are friends from the hospital. And like, let's do it again. So we did it again, 100 shirts sold out. Same thing, 15, 20 minutes. And like, whoa, this is weird, you know? And then more and more it started happening to the point like it was growing and growing. And then I eventually had to just move out.
It like snowballed.
It snowballed, yeah. And it was no longer just friends and family. It was people in Texas, people Florida, Hawaii, you know? And then it started going international. And I didn't know anyone who was...
Is it figuring out the shipping process? Because like we started like, we tried to do a little, like we called it power level apparel. And we kind of put that in the back burner. But we started it. And isn't it crazy? Like you're like, oh, I gotta ship this.
Yeah,
oh,
like the logistics. We have to ship it. Like, wait, we have to have a policy on.
Yeah.
What?
It's like, oh, I'm going to the post office.
Yeah, people just think it's so easy. Just like, oh yeah, hold the shirts. It's like, no, dude, there's like so much. Like there's poly mailers. There's like, how do you print the labels? Like,
how do you choose the bag? Like, do you put it in a bag? Do you put it in a box? Do you put it in
box?
both?
How much is it? What service are you gonna use? How do you get to that? Oh my god, it's a mess.
Yeah,
like,
that's
starting
what it's
like what?
Dude.
Let alone like business access.
And it was this was all through Instagram or word of mouth, like social media. What was a big thing for you?
We started on Instagram because that's all I really know how to use.
No, I mean, hey man, we all gotta start somewhere, dude.
Yeah, really. I mean, I had handles for everything, but we launched our main campaign on Instagram. So we just asked like some friends to like do some videography and do some photography and try to be cool and hype and all that kind of stuff. And we just launched the whole campaign on Instagram and tried to like spread it to our friends, you know, and say, hey, like, but everyone at the end of the day, our biggest growth came from word of mouth. Yeah. It was people who would wear it and be like, hey, dude, that's super cool. Like, where'd you get it? And then they talk about it and then they talk about the brand. And then it became like an organic growth, which was insane because everyone in the beginning was telling me, you need to buy followers. You need to do this because you look more legitimate, you know, like all these like people. And I'm like, I personally against that because I wanted to see what the true growth was with the company and if it was truly making an impact in the industry. And if I bought followers, that would dilute that and I would have no idea, you know.
Yeah, you get some randos with like weird
and then those weird like comments like fire or
fire, good. Explosion. I like the video and it's a picture.
It's like in German or Russian. I'm like, what?
It's like, yeah, very good.
Really
it's like,
appreciate it.
Okay. I like the car. It's like shirt. Oh, okay. Thank you.
That looks like it tastes good.
Do you get that? What was it? There's this one apparel company that always has bots. It's like BFit Apparel or something like that. Right?
Yeah, dude, they're ancient though. Like
I still get their comments
like, since like 6 years or something ago. The Dream Elegance or something like that. It's crazy that they're still in operation.
It's like, dude,
I admire their grit.
They're
no matter how much. They don't care. They're just gonna do it.
I mean, they don't give a fuck. Trust me.
I want to meet the owner and I want to understand what they are doing, but they've lasted pretty long.
Yeah.
So
like, let's do it. So why the donut?
I love donuts.
Yeah.
You know, I love donuts in general, just because, like, you know, who doesn't? I mean, some people don't. I get that, but I did. And I also liked the colors that you do with it, and it just felt, and it was circular, and I like the pink aspect. You know, I like the whole kawaii vibe.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the fitness industry, everyone's so damn serious. Like they're always like so hard and so like, oh, you know, it's aggressive sometimes. And I felt like pink is such a non-threatening color.
It's a color.
You know, it's a color, and like, and a lot of, and I felt like it was like enough to stand out and like kind of force people to be a little less like, oh my god, okay, pink is in fitness. It can be cool.
You're doing. I'm looking at your Instagram. You got like the pink and blue vibe with the white and like the beige coming in. Like it's a very kawaii vibe. It's a very like man.
I wanted to a lot of the different vibe to the fitness industry for sure.
Oh,
because
dude.
that was
It's
some of
it's
our
pretty
background.
chill. Yeah, I like it. And so what inspires you? Like, what's inspiring you to, like, with this brand? Like, what inspired you originally, and what inspires you now? Because I know they're gonna be two different things.
They are totally different things. What inspired me in the beginning? Gosh, it's hard to say like it was full inspiration because it was more of just like do it or don't fucking do it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah.
it or not. You know? And I mean, I was obviously inspired by kind of what I felt the industry needed at that time, you know. Um, and now it is also my mission statement never changed at that end of the day. Like I still heavily believe in the messages that we are trying to spread and trying to create conversations in the community. And it's also challenged me to consider like continue to understand what value do I want to put in the fitness industry, you know, if that makes sense. And so now what I feel is really pushing me is this desire to truly, I've seen what the impact it's made on people. Like it's some people it's a fun shirt, which is cool, like it's positive. But some people have like we've had emails of people who have come out and said like, listen, my life was changed by your brand. It like for me it was so impactful because like I was so scared to go to the gym. There was this woman with her, she had a son who was like very overweight, but he would not go to the gym because he was scared of gym intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't understand it. You know, the whole concept. He kind of had given up. And then he found our brand and kind of the community and how kind of showing people trying to be relatable and showing that they also struggle with body image. And he ended up like losing a ton of weight, like 50, 60 pounds because he stepped in the gym because he with the shirt and he felt like he had a supportive community
See,
behind him.
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
And that's exactly what drives me more. Because in the beginning, I didn't know if there were other people who suffered the same kind of body dysmorphia or body image issue that I did.
Dude, it's very rampant. Oh my god.
Yeah, you know, people were always
rampant.
like people like would always post like their perfect pictures. Like no one was really showing that the struggle that was underneath it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
behind the scenes.
And exactly. And so us being able to have athletes and people who are brave to expose this vulnerability to the public have showed other people that it's okay and have welcomed people into the fitness industry and have changed lives because of it. And that alone is fueling me to take it even further, to keep pushing. Like, because it's these people that I want to reach out to. It's this community that I want to keep growing because it is making a positive impact, in my opinion. And that's what I want to do with the time I have on this earth, you know?
That's really good. That's
yeah,
solid, man. Look at that.
That's the drive. I mean, honestly, that's what inspires me. And I've seen so many people change. Like, even my business partners, one, she's a PT, and she actually is one of my best friends. And she was pretty overweight throughout school, but she's lost a ton of weight throughout this company because she has found a way to be kinder to herself instead of having that self-loathing, like, oh, you're fat, oh, you're this, you're kind of that, you know? She was able to live the brand herself, and she has lost a ton of weight because she finds now value in herself intrinsically versus just outward, you know? And that alone, seeing my best friend's life change is like, we're doing something, you know, we're on a fucking mission,
right?
You know, we're going to go, you know?
Isn't it crazy how powerful a brand can become?
Oh, it's insane. Like at the end of the day, like let's be real. These are just 4 words on a shirt, you know, with some cute designs every now and then, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, that's what it is. But on the outside perspective, but when you really create a community and a brand of like, try to really do something, it affects people's lives. And I didn't realize the power that could have. And like with that, I really want to be responsible and really promote something positive, you know? So that drives me now.
Dang.
That answers
that. So like clothing wise, is shirts, tops, bottom, like is it the whole spectrum or what?
Shirts.
What?
People are always asking. We are largely mainly tops right now.
Yeah.
We have hats and stuff like that, and we are now expanding our line this year into more. I mean, obviously, people in the beginning were like, "You need to make this, dude. Make this. Make sports bras. Make this." I'm like, "Oh, I barely know how to make a shirt, guys." Like,
sports bra.
I'm
Like,
trying.
I don't know how to start that.
I know, like, what am I doing? Like leggings, like, they've been asking for these things for so long. Like, we barely released even patches, and people have been asking for patches, I think, for like a year.
Yeah, they ask for the like weirdest things. It's like, can I get a popper, or like with the pop stop?
Yeah,
Or
the pop things.
The
we
pop
ended up
things.
we made something similar, but it's called a love handle, which is funny, the brand, but it holds your phone up. And I was like, holy shit, this stuff is amazing. No wonder they wanted this.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're making these now.
Yeah, but like we're moving now into like more we have a lot of in production, like the pants, the leggings, the sportswear, and then also streetwear too. We're going down the route of that avenue.
Have you done the thing where you go to events and you do the whole booth?
Oh, dude, we still do that. That's kind of like that's how the company grew, because we went out there and we're doing like groundwork. So we're really big right now in the powerlifting community. That's kind of where our home is and where our growth developed.
Oh yeah.
Because the USPA, the United States Powerlifting Association, was kind enough to allow us the opportunity to have a booth there. And we ended up having a booth, and from there we like met people like, oh hey, how are you? And like our athletes and the people who like came on earlier were like talking and promoting and talking about the brand because they believed so heartily in the message. And so for us, like we have booths like this year, we have like at least 18, 20 events. Like we're going up north, so I might visit you out there for like Foodie Land or something. And then we have San Jose Fit Expo.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, dude, we're doing groundwork.
That's good. No, that was my next leading up, but you beat me to it. Is that what I found when I marketing to our demographic of like nerd out and workout and all that stuff is, and I think in training in general, is like one day I was just messing around with like ads and stuff, and I was just like, how like it lets you like pick the people you want to target, and I'm like, let's go foodies. Like I literally like type in foodies, people who like foodies or who identify as foodies, and when I did that ad campaign, hella people were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" That was like the most I've had. So I did like a pivot. I'm like, "All right, we're targeting foodies because like these guys like to eat and they like to train." So
exactly.
So Foodie Land? I didn't even hear about that. Like, what is that? Where in San Francisco or what?
I think it's there. So I have a direct events director. She handles all that information, but they reached out to us, I guess. Like we've had a ton of like food places reach out to us and fitness, but like she's from NorCal, my business partner, and she's like, hey, there's this Foodie Land thing. I think San Jose, I'm not sure, up there. And we're gonna go out there, check it out, have a booth. I think it's their first year, or second year. I'm not sure, but we're gonna check it out. And then we're also doing the San Jose Fit Expo too. Nice. And out here we do we have 626 Night Market. I think they're trying to get Night Market up north too.
Dude, they've been, oh my God, Fremont, Paulo, like everyone here in the Bay Area wants everything that happens in SoCal just finds its way up to NorCal.
Yeah, it's just gonna crawl up there. So we're crawling up there too with everybody. But it's funny because like it's awesome because we get to be in the foodie space and we get to be in the fitness space because
that's where it's at, bro.
We love it both. So
it's a good mixture.
Both. Yeah.
It's a good mixture.
It's good, dude. And then opportunities are like endless, to be honest. Like we have so many ideas. Like we've been working with restaurants. We work with boba shops. We work with like, promote other small businesses and have fun with it. Because we're not scared of food.
Dude. So do you have like a kind of fit, kind of fat mobile? Like
not yet.
Do you have like a decked out?
If you saw like our recent design, it was like Z3.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm like, dude, if you had that layout, oh my God.
So I want to make that. And so we're in the process of trying to find one, like wrap it up and then take it to drift events and stuff like that, so
dude,
it would just be dope.
Take it anywhere, bro. People be taking pictures of you everywhere.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're in the process of getting that done just because why the fuck not?
Dude, I'm just saying that's freaking genius if you do it. Right? So sure, I think you have a hoodie now, right? Or you have a jacket?
Oh yeah, we have some hoodies. We have a jacket, and we're releasing more hoodies too, and then more tank tops. People really love tank tops, and we're like, okay, we'll start making more.
What's your most popular shirt or design right now?
Our most popular is our original. Is burnt. We call it burnt OG donut. And so that's the one with the donut plate and then the white bar on the back. It's kind of been like the most recognizable branding for us. Like you see it, everyone knows it's us.
Really?
So yeah, like it's funny because people always say like, "Dude, I see your gym in the your shirt in this gym. I see your shirt here," and like they're sending all these videos of people wearing it. But like I've been so like busy like in the warehouse, like going to like business meetings and stuff. I swear I don't see it myself.
Like, where are these people?
I'm like, where are they? I feel like they're making it up. I feel like everything's fake.
Like you just they pay. Hey, can you just make my friend feel
just
better?
wear the shirt.
Just wear the shirt.
Yeah, in my head I'm like, there's no way. Like I don't see it. But like also it's really cool though because I become friends with almost because when someone does wear it like at a meet or something like that, I make go out of my way to become their friend. Like I really want to know who they are. So I guess when I see someone wear it, I already know them, so it's not as much of a shock factor,
Yeah.
Like as a stranger wearing it because they're not a stranger to me anymore. They're like a homie. But I haven't really seen it in like 24-hour fitness, but everyone has sent me photos of it in 24-hour fitness, and I'm like, I just haven't been out.
Well, we have a couple people who swear by your brand. I have this one, the one dude that I it was a buddy of mine. His name's Ferd, and he's not gonna tell you. Maybe he reached out to you already, but he's not gonna say. I don't know if he's gonna say anything. But like he's been like promoting your stuff on his story like here and there and tagging you and all that stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you got people here in the Bay Area who like are knowing about it.
That's dope. That's crazy.
So because that's how we found out, like literally, and it's very recognizable. Because like there's other brands out there. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool concept. Yeah. And then when he wore it in, I'm like, is that a donut? And I'm like, wait a minute. No, that's a plate. Oh, it's a plate and a donut. It's like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, shit. So, yeah, let me hit me up when you guys get back here or get up here. And, dude, yeah, we're going to work. Where do you work out now? Where do you? Yeah,
at 99 Barbell. It's a private powerlifting mixed gym. So that's where I train for the most part, just because they have all the equipment I need. So I do that.
Are you competing or no?
I did. I competed last year. I was supposed to compete in like 2 months, but just with the business and stuff, it wouldn't be. Right? I didn't want to do it because why?
Like 2-hour sessions every day.
It's like 3 or 4, man.
Oh shit! Yeah, 3 or 4 when you're comp ready.
I haven't. It was like, what the fuck? Like, it's like I admire the like amount of training you have to do that, but my God, where am I gonna find those hours?
No, it's true because you're like. Because even like like it's training and then you're like an hour and a half into the workout, you're like, I need to make a call. I need to answer emails.
I gotta email, I gotta like do orders, So like at most I do 2 hours right now, and that's not enough to be competitive in my mind. But I do plan on doing one this year later when I could find a way. I'll find a way.
Where were you at USPA? Did you do nationals or what?
Yeah, we did national at USPA. Our first event was states. And we made that connection because someone said, oh, this is real cool people, let's meet. And then after states, we did title sponsorship at nationals. And then last year we did nationals again, and then we did worlds. Wow. And then we just did states again this year. And then we're gonna ideally go to nationals and, keep supporting the sport because the sport has been so kind to us. So
Lord. Lord.
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to be part of that meet that Lord was hosting, but I dropped out.
Aw, well, he hosts like most of the meets at SoCal,
He hosts
right?
a lot, yeah. So he was hosting out in Santa Clarita where Zoo Culture is. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh no, I know. Every time I go to SoCal, like recently we were at SoCal and there's Nerd Strong Gym where you guys are at, like, and then there's Zoo Culture, and then there's Barbell Brigade, and I think
there's a nerd gym out here,
bro.
Nerd Strong, what?
It's in it's near Universal. Well, that's just how I know.
Like,
it's in West Hollywood. Look up Nerd Strong Gym.
Yeah.
His name is Coach Andrew. He's my Yoda. I'm Obi-Wan. He's Yoda. Cause like when I opened this gym, I was like, oh, we're gonna be a nerd gym. Da, da, da. And then my buddy was like, one of my buddies was like, dude, did you see this gym? And I'm like, no. And they showed me. I'm like, dude, this gym blows us out of the water because they're really dialed in. Yeah. Andrew, I call him Coach Andrew, but Andrew's the owner. Yeah. But I'm telling you, like, you should stop by his gym, check it out.
Easy.
He has like workouts that are so immersed into like the fandom of whatever they're doing. Like they had an Independence Day workout, like you know, the movie, and they had like kill the alien or something, and it's like tentacles, and it was like battle ropes. It was like crazy stuff like he does, and he's so creative, and he inspires me to push myself, and it's like, oh my god, like, and but yeah, check out Nerd Strong Gym.
I'll check it out for sure, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. When I told my friends about your gym too, like, I was like, hey, this guy reached out, he's for a podcast, and I showed like them your gym, like, dude, that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen, because like all my friends are pretty nerdy too.
Yeah.
You know? like, dude, to be able to fuse that culture together is like freaking godly. You know, you have like Flex Comics, you know, he did it kind of like pretty well on shirts, but like to have an actual gym, you know, dedicated to that, I was like, that's so dope.
It's been growing, and what we've been doing is, you know, because it got to the point where we're using a lot of Marvel characters and we're using a lot of DC characters.
And Disney bought that out and shit.
And that's the thing, like, you know, some of my business partners were kind of like, because some of my business partners, they actually did deals with Disney. So contractually, they know the terms. So they're like, dude, if they get you, you know.
Yeah, it can really
like,
mess you up.
Yeah, but he's like, if you're a first-time offense, it's like whatever. But like they know I know. So
like do like parody then.
That's what we're doing. That's what I'm working on. So we're working on like other things.
Make like a kind of fit, kind of fat Captain America, you know? It's a parody, you know what I mean? And we could collab on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like the donuts, the shield.
You know? Yeah, exactly. You know, it's not Captain America, you know?
It's different.
KFK of America.
It's retired Captain America.
Yeah, it's Dad Bod America.
Dad Bod, he's living life after the Avengers, after Endgame. Exactly. Oh my god.
Funny.
Yeah, dude. So that's the thing. Like we've done like sword fighting workshops and all that stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. I wish you were closer to me.
Dude. Well, it's like now it's like we've grown to the point where we actually have to be more serious about training. Yeah. And like we do other events now too.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Right now what we're doing is we're gonna break up and I've been wanting to do this, like there's this other gym down the way called San Jose Barbell, and they're very nerdy too. Like they're all about like Animal Kingdom stuff. They're very animal. That's their gig. And what they did was they broke up their gym into 4 houses like Hogwarts, and I was gonna do that. And I talked to him like, dude, you fucking did it. And he goes, dude, you should do it too, because like we can like do collab events together, and everyone will be on like
so houses.
So we're gonna sort the gym into like 4 houses, and and we're gonna have.
House are you?
Huh?
What house are you? Do you know what house you are?
Oh, like, yeah, dude. The Pottermore test.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gryffindor, bro.
Oh damn.
What are you, Slytherin?
Yeah.
That's all good.
What the hell? I used to be Ravenclaw when I was younger, and then I took it recently. Apparently, I'm a freaking Slytherin. I'm like, what?
Because you're ambitious. You're ambitious. You're clever.
But I'm so nice.
Yeah, but Slytherin isn't always bad. People always think like Slytherin are evil.
Sure about that? Are we sure about that?
Nah, dude, Slytherin means you're a buessman. Like, you know when to be serious. I'm just saying.
I was offended.
Huh? Really?
Yeah.
I think
I was a Ravenclaw. I was like, I could be Ravenclaw because no one really knows too much about them, you know? Like, oh yeah, they're like smart or whatever, but like they don't have, like, it's whatever. But like Slytherin has such a stigma to them, like to be assholes. I'm like, oh man, I'm an asshole.
Well, they know.
Like when it comes down to it, I'm gonna kill you with my.
When it comes down to business, I'm gonna take care of business. That's basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
I'm gonna plug this into my laptop so I can.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
We're actually gonna split the gym into 4 colors because I can't use the official houses, but we're gonna still use the same colors, and then
you're like bro names, like.
Well, we'll come up with bro names, and then each. What?
Griffin bro.
They have a thing. I think Flex Comics made it.
Rufflepuff. Oh, they did. I have one of the shirts.
Like Liftendor.
Yeah.
Liftendor, Slither Gainz or whatever. I gotta look it up.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's what we do here, and it's really interesting because when you create that culture, you get like hardcore like, hey, this gym isn't nerdy enough. Like, we need more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm trying, man.
That's how you know you're doing something right.
That's good. It's like
if you're not getting criticism, you're not doing something.
It's true. I mean, we are the only gym in the Bay Area, if I'm going to show you real quick, that has a twerking Deadpool. If you see that. You see that Twerking Deadpool?
Bro, you guys send me that photo. I gotta plug that. That's freaking hilarious. I need to plug that on my page.
I'm
That's
gonna buy
too
a
funny.
shirt from you. I'm gonna put it on the Twerking Deadpool.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So we have.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, like that's one of my things. Like,
where'd you find it?
So I collab with other like gym owners around like the country, and it was like one of this conference, and word got around like, oh, you have a nerd gym in San Jose? I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, this guy GR, he has like a gym very similar. He doesn't call it a nerd gym, but it's a very similar culture. Yeah. And he goes up to me. He goes, oh, like, you know, I have a gym too. We just started shooting the shit. And he goes, do you have a twerking Deadpool in your gym? And I'm like, twerking Deadpool? And he showed me that in his gym. And I'm like, he goes, you're not an official nerd gym if you don't have a twerking Deadpool. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Dude, I need to get one. Find out how I can get one. I'm putting it in this freaking office.
Google it. One. That's what I did. I just Googled it.
I forgot I'm ordering it today.
I said twerking
it's on the business.
Deadpool.
I'm buying it.
Twerking Deadpool, like, prop-up thing. I just looked for it. And for a while, it was sold out. And then one time, on a random day, I searched it again, and they got it. Like, they're, like, searching for it right now.
I'm literally looking for it right now. I'm not even fucking with you. I want this so bad.
You can slap, like, kind of fake, kind of fat on the ass, and you're like,
oh my gosh. I hope there's, like, a whole series of twerking characters now that I think about it.
There you go. See? Ideas.
Like a twerking Hulk.
Ideas. Twerking Thanos.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, I'll find it later. I can't find it right now.
It took a while to find it.
I'm finding weird content right now. Then maybe I should refine my search a little bit.
When I got it in the gym, my wife was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "It's a Twerking Deadpool." And she goes, "What money did you use to buy it?" I'm like, "The business. It's a business expense. Marketing. I'm gonna put it in our booth."
Oh, that's the best idea I've ever seen in my life.
I'm telling you, dude.
I love it though. I love that like you have other businesses who are technically in a competitive space, but you guys are very like supportive of each other.
Dude, my gym is dead center between two other gyms. There's San Jose Barbell and there's Anchored and Central Strength and Conditioning. And you know, they Anchored and Central, they have their own little vibe. And San Jose Barbell have their own little vibe. Yeah. And we're literally like down the street from each other, probably like 1.5 miles to 2 miles apart. Yeah. And the thing with us, and I know both owners, and you know, like, and as with every business, members shuffle. Like, I get business from them, or some of our members go to them, and vice versa. But the whole thing is, it's like we operate in like, this is what we do, you know. We want people who want to be here, and we always share ideas with each other. And it's like when you go to events like your meets or your competitions, we're all there anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? And some gyms that get very competitive with each other, like, oh, like that gym is, then there's like drama. But for the most part, we just want to be like happy, and we want to just provide this positive atmosphere.
Dude,
right?
I love that. Like, it's very rare in the business industry that I've noticed that people are like that. And those are the industries and businesses that we end up gravitating towards to and working with. You know, like, one of our biggest mentors have been these girls called at Milk and Tea. And they started this whole BoBo movement, and they threw like this anniversary party for themselves. And like, it was literally a party with all their competitors. Like, everyone was there supporting. Like, there's boba stores that were literally down the street from them, and they were at that party supporting them. And I'm like, this is the same thing with apparel. Like, when you go in apparel, some companies are so threatened. They're like, oh no, like, no, like, you can't wear that. They're very like,
oh my
God.
Like,
bro, like, you can change your shirt like every day. Like, I don't always wear kind of thick, kind of fat. You know, like, I wear different shirts.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like and it's a common thing. It's like when you focus on competition, you're focusing on competition, right? But when you just focus on, you know, community and just being like dominating in your own little niche. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
you're not threatened by others, and you're pretty. I love that. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that you're doing that too.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, it's like a thing. Yeah, like right now we're just I just tell people we're the only gym in the Bay Area that has a Twerking Deadpool. So if
honestly, I need that.
I need Twerking Deadpool in my life.
I freaking need it, and I will plug the shit out of you guys. That's where I got it from. I need that now.
Let's move on to where to now.
Okay.
Twerking Deadpool's already in the future, so.
we gotta now it's like just pretty much world domination, my dude. I'm just gonna be straight up. It's like taking it to the top, taking it to the Olympics, taking like it like so far. We already started programs in a ton of different sports with other teams. You know, like they're even like roller derby, you know, stuff like that. Like we're hitting up. Our job, what we want to do is hit up different sports that don't have a lot of visibility and bring light to them, and you know, show like educate people on different sports and stuff. We're actually in gaming now.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
Gaming is the most underrated. Like people
do not respect that. Like when I first like brought up the concept to someone, they're like, "Oh no, don't do that. That's not a sport." I'm like, "Screw you. That's a sport. I'm gonna do it anyway."
Esports has hella money in that market. That market is not attended to well, and because we're talking about this, other people are gonna hear it and they're gonna be, "Oh shit, we're gonna make a move."
Air this later.
Yeah.
Or just shoot it for a little bit, and then you can air it after I launch it.
Edit this out.
Edit this section out, and then put it like a sneak peek later. But I mean. Yeah, like we're had a ton of different like areas we're aiming to go to, and so pretty much dominate that. And like we're not only apparel anymore; we have a media company. We're going into the entertainment industry. We're going into other lines, other food. Like it's endless, to be honest, man.
Kind of fit, kind of fat productions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share you this idea that I have.
Okay.
That we're gonna do it, but you can do it too because I think it'll fit well with your brand. Because we just happened upon a space and we're gonna start doing more content stuff too, like foodie reviews, and one of them was called Fit Fad Foodie. So
that sounds super familiar.
I did research. No one has that. So
but I think that's like a actual like is that a food event?
Maybe I don't know.
That's dope. But keep going.
But so what we would do is we would just get the trendiest fit meals, fit food, like Impossible Burger, and we would just have it reviewed by like weightlifters, powerlifters, and see what they honestly thought. Yeah. Like I tried it impromptu by one of our staff meetings. We gave him food, and my weightlifting coach Tim, he's like a food. If he wasn't a coach, he would be a food critic because he's like one of those guys. Like when he eats like medium rare ribeye, he's like. It's like so then I was like, okay, so then we fed him the Impossible Burger, but I didn't say shit. I was like, just have these burgers, and he started eating it, and he's like, is there cumin in here? It tastes really off. And I'm like, no, dude, it's good. You like it? And then he's like, it's good, it's good. And then later I'm like, hey bro, that's not meat, that's a vegan burger. And he's like, and then he was like, okay, kind of set it down, never touched it again. I was like, come on, dude.
Funny.
But it's really interesting to do that. So I'm just saying, like that type of stuff would be pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. We should probably work together on some of that stuff too. Like we love doing random things and working with other companies and just having fun.
I'm down. Are you going to Comic-Con?
Yes. Not the booth though. I've always wanted a booth space there. But
I know someone.
That wait list is great. Do you? Let's talk later.
I know someone. I think she goes every year, but I think some years she doesn't want to go. And they want to reserve the booth space. So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like Comic-Con has exploded so much.
But yeah, I'm gonna be there for like 4 days, and I'm gonna also I'll try to sync up with Nerd Strong, Andrew, if he's gonna be there, because Andrew does he's at WonderCon, the nerd gym I'm talking about, and he does panels. So he's doing panels at WonderCon. And he did one at Comic-Con, and he was teaching me how to do. He's like, oh, this is where you gotta look for people and talk to them, and like you should do it. And I'm like, oh shit. So.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I know. So I'm like, oh fuck.
Do.
So Silicon Valley Comic-Con, I'm trying to do a panel. Shout out to them if you guys please help. Here's a cool question.
Yeah.
What brand, like popular right now, would you love to collab with? Like, what is that unicorn that you're trying to strive for? That, like, notice me, senpai. Like, come on.
Oh gosh, that's a good question because there's a bunch, but I mean, obviously one that comes to mind is Live Fit.
Ooh.
Like, he is like and Randall Pitch is a pioneer, man. Like he paved the way. I've never met. We actually had a booth, 3 booths. We were 3 booths from him at LA Fit Expo, and I apparently I went to the bathroom and apparently he walked by and one of my friends saw him and stuff like that. But like I've been watching that guy. He showed that you can build a business off of social media.
Yeah.
You know. And I was like, wow, he freaking did it. Their booth was enormous, dog. Like, it was so big, and it had a line, and then we had
like a fort.
It's a fort. It's literally a fortress. Like, we were setting up our dinky ass 10x10 booth in the little corner. I don't know how we ended up there. We were next to them and like this big ass hero, like all these huge brands, and we have our little like tiny.
That's how it starts, though.
You know?
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
You know? And then, like, there was nothing there when we were setting up, so we were just, like, you know, putting our tiny grids together, lifting our banners. And, like, I turn around and literally, I kid you not, this, like, fort just goes... and, like, this thing falls from the ceiling, and they have that floating thing in the air. I'm like, what the fuck?
Can I just use one plug, guys? I just need a
plug.
plug.
Like, can I just get some electricity here? We can't even charge our freaking iPads in there.
Sorry, you gotta go over there. It's like, okay, thank you.
Like, all right, you guys go in the tiny corner. It was so funny. Like, we're all dinky and stuff, but...
That's how it starts, though, man. Humble beginnings. Because, you know, Randall had to start somewhere like that, too.
Exactly. It was cool, though, because even with our small booth, we had, like, a huge line. And, like, people were like, who the hell are these guys? You know, like, it was just this unstoppable line. And we're like, all our computers were crashing. We didn't know what to do because the line was so big, you know? But it was really cool to have that experience where everyone's like, who are these? Like, we had cops next to us, like, the LA County. And then, like, midway when we finally were breathing, he, like, tapped me on the shoulders, like, who are you guys? And we're like, what?
You had cops next to your booth?
Yeah.
So you had
always
cops
end up next to cops.
You had cops
they love
next
our
to
shit.
The donut stuff.
Yeah, they love it. I'm not even joking. I mean,
that's so good. That's perfect.
That brings me to, it was funny because we were doing a shoot in LA and the cops came over, you know, because they always do stuff. They're checking out what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then my friend, he was talking to the cop, and then he's like, hey, you like this? It has donuts. And I'm like, dude, you can't fucking say that. And the cop's like, oh, you got jokes.
Oh, shit.
We're like, yeah, he was pretty cool. He was, like, laughing at it. But, yeah, the cops said, like, who the hell are you guys? Like, I don't know. We're just fucking people who sell shirts.
Hey, man, we just have a donut and a Z, and we're good, man.
It's funny. But, yeah, I forgot how it got there. But, yeah, I guess LiftFit would be someone, because I really admire what he's done. And he's, like, really influenced business and apparel and fitness culture in general. He's one of the first people to shake up the industry. Yeah. Or Barbell Brigade. I love Barbell Brigade.
Didn't you do something with Bart?
We did a fashion show with them, or like in their backyard and stuff like that. But like to actually have I think this is their first collab. They did one recently with Hate brand, like HV55 or whatever, 11. God, I don't know math, but that was so dumb. Oh my god, that was the goodest thing. HV55. I don't know math.
H85.
You can get that out too. But yeah. Barbell Brigade or LiftFit, I think, are like some of the brands that I really admire. So I would want to collab with them. Or will collab with them. You never know.
Ooh, will collab.
I already did a fashion show in Barbell's backyard. I never thought that would ever happen.
Yeah, how did that start?
It's so Barbell Brigade actually reached out to our page like in December, and they're like, hey, we're doing a week-long event where we're inviting specific companies to do events during the Fit Expo week, like just to celebrate it. And we were one of the companies they ended up asking, I guess just because we made such an impact with our members and our social media footprint. And so I was like, hell yeah. And they're like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. And so like we had like other companies, you know, they're bringing like famous people over, which is cool and stuff. But like, it's like, what do you guys want to do? I'm like, I want to do a fucking food fashion show.
That's sick. That's sick.
Eating competition. And she's like, all right.
Dude, you're tripling down on your brand. That's what you're supposed to do, dude.
I just want to do the most ridiculous things. Like, don't give us space if you ain't ready for us.
Real quick, because I got to teach a class soon.
Yeah.
Remember I told you I was going to ask you a really random question at the end?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. This is like, I'm just going to ask it how I was asked.
Okay.
There's no further explanation after this, okay?
Okay. All right.
It's so... Okay,
I'm so nervous.
Lord of the Rings or Rocky? Thank you. That's
so different.
That's exactly how I reacted.
What?
Now you have to give your answer.
Oh man, that's hard. You know what? I'm gonna say Lord of the Rings just because it's so long,
Yeah.
and the struggle that this homeboy had to do to get that motherfucking ring across the world. That was an impossible. They give Rocky like props for being like inspirational. No, homeboy Frodo, he went all the way. He fought giant spiders. You know, a tower of eye that will kill you. You know,
No shoes.
homeboy, he faced death. Now that is a freaking year. That's inspiration. That's I'd say Lord of the Rings.
So Lord of the Rings. Okay, good. All right, I'll get that answer. That question was asked by Rambeer and them from Sounds like Barbell too. They asked me that question.
Funny.
So when
It's
they
so
asked me
random.
that, I was like,
You know, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, something like in the same dimension
no,
almost.
they're
You
like
know,
Lord of the Rings and Rocky, and I'm like, are we counting Rocky 5? And they're like, nope, can't answer
Chicks or
that.
Star Wars.
Huh?
White chicks or Star Wars?
Yeah, White Chicken Star Wars.
What?
Star Wars. White chicks don't got lightsabers.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. Shit. All right, let me wrap this up real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it up. I'll edit this part out. I'm going to wrap it up and then end it. But then at the same time, I'll talk for you, and then I got to go teach this class in about 5 minutes. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
good?
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So, all right, guys, that is it with BroDean, CEO of the up-and-coming brand, Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat. I don't think it's up-and-coming. I think it's already here. It's just growing. And be on the lookout for the Twerking Deadpool with the pink donut, because that's...
Yep, it's coming. It's going to come.
That's
the
coming.
Whole Working Avengers, it's going to be out here.
Twerking Avengers. The website, his social media stuff, they're all going to be in the show notes, ladies and gents. So if you are very curious to what we are all talking about, if you haven't heard about this brand yet, people from all over the world, just click on the link and check them out, because they're awesome and they're building this thriving community. And if you identify with it, then triple down on it, because this guy is going places. So this is Coach Austin from Hyper Strength and Conditioning from South California with the Nerdout Workout podcast with BroDean from Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat.
Man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and we will see you guys later.